Quarterfinals time in the Challenge Cup. A win here and you're one step away from a final. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. This video is intended to be a one-stop shop for you in terms of a guide to the quarterfinals of the European Challenge Cup. We're going to go through the results from the round of 16, the fixtures for the quarterfinals, what kind of form the teams have been in this competition, odds for the games and odds for the championship overall, and also have just a quick discussion on the permutations for the semi-finals. So let's start with the results from the round of 16. So first up we had Scarlets 19, Brive 7. So fairly close most of the way through. A late Shingler try made it secure though for Scarlets. Next then Bristol 26, Clermont 33. Clermont get a try with about 10 minutes to go. Bristol reply with a penalty but can't get that extra converted try that they would need to send it to extra time. Next time you have Toulon 36, Cheetahs 21. Toulon get out to a fairly healthy lead. Cheetahs with a couple of second half tries to make it look a bit more respectable. Fair play to them though, as an invited team, did fairly well to reach this stage and hopefully they get invited back next year as well. Then we have Benetton 41, Connacht 19. Connacht with a couple of early tries, but then Benetton respond well. They get ahead, and once they're ahead, then they kind of manage the game very well and stretch away from Connacht. Then we have Stade Francais 24, Lyon 41. So Stade were leading this one at half time. Lyon, though, got 4 second half tries and in the end finished fairly comfortable for the win. Next time we have Lions 51, Racing 28. So Racing sent a very much change side for them, indicating that no real interest in progressing in this competition. Lions, though, were reduced to 14 men when Shituka was sent off after, I think it was 18 minutes, but never really in doubt who was going to win this one. Very good performance from the Lions. Then we have Glasgow 73, Dragons 33. Dragons did have a man sent off, but I don't think it played much into the overall results. Matthews for Glasgow got himself 5 tries, the first Glasgow player to do that in European competition. Glasgow looked really, really good in that game. Next time we have Cardiff 28, Sale 27. So late penalty from Cardiff put them ahead because Sale were leading with, I think, about 10 minutes or so to go. But then Cardiff get a penalty and it's enough to put them through. Okay, so quarterfinals, we have 5 URC teams, 3 from the top 14 and none from the Premiership. The matchups are on Friday, Scarlets versus Clermont. On Saturday, then we have Toulon, Lyon, Benetton, Cardiff, and then Glasgow Lions. So we'll start with Scarlets versus Clermont, which is quarterfinal 4. And that's important to remember for when we talk about the semi-final matchups. Don't know why they did it, but it seems in this competition they always do things a little bit backwards. So apparently quarterfinal 4 is actually your first quarterfinal. Maybe it's to do with when teams played in the last round, or I'm not sure, but it's a bit weird anyway. But as I said, it's on Friday. It's the 7th of April. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. BST. It's at Parky Scarlets in Clermont. So this is first from Pool B versus 9th from Pool B of the Heineken Cup. So Clermont dropped down. Scarlets in the pool stages went win. They did the double over both Bayonne and Cheetahs. Clermont went win, loss. They beat the Stormers once, lost to them again, and lost both games against Leicester. This is 13th in the URC versus 10th in the top 14. So neither in amazing form at the moment, although Scarlets have picked up in recent times. Scarlets, no real history in terms of this competition. Clermont were the winners in 2019. Last year, Scarlets were eliminated at the Heineken Cup pool stages. Clermont got to the round of 16 of the Champions Cup where they lost to Leicester. Last time they played in the domestic leagues, Scarlets won 32-20 against the Sharks, while Clermont won 38-10 against Brive. And in the last round of this competition, Scarlets also beat Brive 19-7, and Clermont won away 33-26 to Bristol. The odds for this game, Scarlets are 6-4, and Clermont 6-4 on favourites for the game. For the tournament as a whole, Scarlets are 10-1 and Clermont are 8-1. So obviously the bookies expecting Clermont to progress here, but I think maybe Scarlet's home advantage plus that little bit of form that they found recently might be enough for them to cause a little bit of an upset and go through. It's kind of weird to think that, you know, one of the top seeds in the competition is the underdog when they're playing at home in the quarterfinals, but that's what happens when teams drop down from the Heineken Cup. Next, then we have quarterfinal 1, which is Toulon versus Lyon, and it's on Saturday, the 8th of April. Kickoff is 12:30 BST, and this is at the Stade Félix Mayol in Toulon. It's first in Pool A versus 9th from Pool A of the Heineken Cup, so Lyon dropped down. Toulon went win, did the double over Bat and Zebre. Lyon went loss, win, lost both to Saracens and won one game against the Bulls. Toulon currently 6th in the top 14, and Lyon are 4th in the same competition. This is also a repeat of the final from last year. Toulon are champions from 2013, 14, and 15. Lyon, the defending champions from last year, where they beat Toulon 30-12 in the final. Toulon, obviously last year's runners-up. In the top 14, then these teams played just before the round of 16 of this competition, and Toulon won that one 27-23 away to Lyon, so they're home in this game. In the last 16 of this competition, then Toulon beat the Cheetahs 36-21, and Lyon beat Stade Francais 41-24. So they had, Lyon had an all-French last 16, and now they've got an all-French quarterfinal as well. But this time, as we look at the odds, they're not the favourites. So Toulon are 2-1 on favourites. Lyon are 11-5 tournament odds, 7-4 for Toulon and 5-1 for Lyon. So I believe Toulon are actually the favourites for the entire tournament. So although this is a repeat of the final from last year, obviously the bookies don't think it's going to go the same way. Lyon, though, they're defending their title basically here, and the last game was pretty close. So expect them to put up a big fight and not just, kind of let the trophy go. Next, then we have quarterfinal 2, which is Benetton versus Cardiff. It's on Saturday, the 8th of April. Kickoff is 3 p.m. BST. It's at the Stade Comunale di Moningo in Treviso. It's second in Pool B versus third from Pool A. Benetton went loss, win. They lost to Stade and did the double over Bayonne, and obviously won the other one against Stade. Cardiff went win, loss, double over Newcastle, one loss to Brive and a win against Brive. Currently, Benetton are 9th in the EuroC, Cardiff 10th, and there's only like a point between them, I think, in the table. 1 or 2 points anyway. Benetton, no real pedigree in European competition. Cardiff are the winners from 2010 and 2018, so we'll be looking for a third title. In the round of, in Europe last year, Benetton lost in the round of 16 to Toulon, and Cardiff also lost in the round of 16 to Saracens. So both teams already gone a step further than they did last year, and one of them is going to go, obviously a step further than that again. Last time they played in the URC, Benetton beat the Lions lost to the Lions 28-32 at home. Cardiff beat Zebre 34-30 away. And in the last round, then Benetton beat Connacht 41-19. That's a good result for them because Connacht were in some decent form going into that game. Cardiff beat Sale 28-27. Sale, one of the teams that dropped down from the Heineken Cup, so a decent win for them as well. Odds for the game, Benetton are 15-8 on favourites, Cardiff 15-8 against, and tournament odds 14-1 for Benetton, Cardiff 20-1. So neither really a fancy side overall in the competition, but Benetton, they won the Rainbow Cup a few years ago, and they'd love to add some more silverware from this one. Cardiff, as I said, 2 times previous winners, so if they do make it to the semi-final, you can't back against them too much. Next, then we have the last quarterfinal, which is quarterfinal 3. It's on Saturday, 8th of April. Kickoff is 8 p.m. BST. It's at Scotstoun Stadium, Glasgow. It's Glasgow versus the Lions. This is second in Pool A versus third from Pool B. Glasgow went win, draw, double over Perpignan, 1 win against Bath and a draw. Lions went draw, win, loss, win. So they drew it home to Dragons, lost away to Stade, then won the other 2 games against those teams. Currently, Glasgow 4th in the URC, one of the hot, form teams in that competition. They came from virtually nowhere outside of the playoff spots to work their way right up to 4th. And Lions currently 11th in the URC. They've found a little bit of form in the second half as well. And one thing that might count them is they've actually been better away from home than at home this year. Glasgow looking for to win a first European trophy. Lions, this is their debut. Getting this far is great for them, but again, to get to a semi-final would be something, I think, magical for them. Last year, Glasgow made the quarterfinal, but lost to the eventual winners, Lyon. Obviously, Lions didn't play in the competition last year. And in their last games in the URC, Glasgow won 38-26 away to Munster. Very impressive in that game. Lions won 32-28 in Benetton. Again, showing that, away from home, they're a force to be reckoned with. In the last 16 of this competition, then, Glasgow blew the Dragons away 73-33. So they've got to come into this game, on a real high, full of confidence. Lions won 51-28 against Racing, so a big win for them as well. Odds for the game, though, Glasgow are 9-1 on favourites, and Lions are 7-1. So bookies not really giving them much of a chance. Glasgow, you would kind of expect to win this one. As I said, they really are one of the form teams in Europe at the moment, but Lions away from home, they really can't be discounted. Tournament odds, 5-2 for Glasgow. That makes them second favourites, I think, for the competition. Lions at 25-1 are the rank outsiders, but again, I think that the Lions could cause a bit of an upset here because they've got that ability to produce away from home, and they have some decent form as well. And you don't know with Glasgow either. Sometimes after a massive win like that, you can kind of come down from that, and the next game be not so good. But we'll have a look then at possible semi-finals. So in the semi-finals, quarterfinal 1 and quarterfinal 2 are going to match up. And quarterfinal 3 and quarterfinal 4 will match against each other. So Quarterfinal 1 again is Toulon versus Lyon, and quarterfinal 2 is Benetton versus Cardiff. So if Toulon win, they're at home. Whatever happens in your other quarterfinal doesn't matter. If Lyon win, they're away in the quarterfinal. Again, doesn't matter what happens in the other one because both of the other teams are ranked higher than them from the pool stages. So in terms of Benetton and Cardiff, then if they win, basically they're hoping that Lyon win that other quarterfinal because they will get home advantage. Otherwise, they're going to be traveling to France to play their semi-final. In terms of the other matchup, then, so quarterfinal 4 and quarterfinal 3. So Glasgow and the Lions are ranked 2nd and 3rd from their pools, whereas Scarlets are 1st and Clermont are 9th. Now, this one is a little bit different, and we'll talk about that in a second. So, first of all, if Scarlets win, they're at home, as top rank. So it doesn't matter to them really who wins the other one. But for Clermont, it actually does, because if Clermont win and the Lions win, although the Lions are ranked higher, Clermont will be at home because in this competition, all of the semi-finals will be played in Europe. I don't know why they decided that, because in the Champions Cup it's not that way. But again, this competition is a bit weird compared to they don't just kind of copy what the Champions Cup are doing. There's always slight little variations that actually make things more awkward in this competition. Yeah, if basically the way it is for each of the teams in this, so if Scarlets win, they're at home. If Glasgow win, they've got to hope that there's a Clermont win because then they're at home. If Lions win, it doesn't matter. They're going away one way or the other. And then, as I said, for Clermont, if they win, they've got to hope for the Lions to win because that's the only way that they're going to get a home semi-final. Okay, so that's the end of this one. I will be doing a wrap-up of the quarterfinals probably early next week, where we'll go over some of the highlights of the games. Because Champions Cup is on at the same time, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to cover any of the games individually, because again, in their wisdom, the EPCR decide to put games in Champions Cup and in this competition on at exactly the same time. So you've got to pick which one you're going to watch. So if I can't get to watch any of the games live, it's going to be hard for me to cover them, but I'll try my best to do that. We will at least, though, have a wrap-up of the quarterfinals, so look out for that early next week.